Buenos dias. Anybody relate? Any perfectionists out there? Buenos dias. Happy Friday. Was it a little weird starting without the music? It sounded a little weird without the music. No music. Okay, that was off the beat also. Oh, goodness. Happy Friday. It is May 10th, 2024. Zito, I got a joke for you. Let's put the camera on him. Let's see, where is he? He's somewhere in here. Babe?
What?
You wanna, oh, sorry. Why did the gym close down?
Why?
It just didn't work out.
Oh, God.
He said, oh, God. I know I'm wearing a headset, so it's hard to hear him, but he said what? And then, oh, God. Buenos dias. Hope you are doing well on this Friday over here. And we have been talking all week about progress, not perfection, or I like to say progress over perfection. And it's been about the journey. And we started with this one, right? I mean, it's what we've been talking. We spend a lot of days on progress. Today, shall we talk about the pitfalls and consequences, or whatever word you want to use? Jimmy, do you like pitfalls or consequences of perfectionism? He said, he's still asleep, everybody. So we're gonna do the pitfalls. I think that is something. It's a new word for me. And can you relate? Can you relate to wanting to be perfect in everything you do? It's not that you have a few of your strengths and you do it well, but you just want to be like at everything. So this is what we're gonna and of course I'm gonna just like break it down as far as like one thing that I hear, one thing that I could relate to, and how by watching my husband, he has no idea, I've learned to view it a different way. And also, of course, by the power of words and how that can improve or has improved my mental health, productivity, and overall lifestyle well-being. So here's the kicker for all of us, or for me, or the example I want to use is I'm going to read all these books by the end of the year. And yep, they're all there, stack up. And if you can relate to saying this, let me know in the comments. Let me know if maybe it's not books, maybe it's something else. But we can start the year saying we're going to do all this. So trap number one, or pitfall number one of perfectionism, is the trap of setting unrealistic goals or just huge, lofty. I mean, we're talking about a year. First of all, it's the year. Like, who has the brain power to keep that in mind throughout the whole year if it's not something that's top of mind, right? And then you're piling. I mean, you could pile this up, but anyway. So I have before Jimmy, right? Before Jimmy came in my life, I had aspire to read many books. And I will have such a hard time finishing a book. And this has to be like 2003, 2004, before I went to Springfield College. It was just very hard to finish a book. And so I will start a book and then I'll throw it across the room. I mean, sometimes like the Habits of Highly Effective People, I read it like when I was like 20 or 21. And I will like read something that will frustrate me. And it's just like, just be tossed somehow against something, hidden against under a table or something. And it wasn't until like, in Springfield College where I was inspired, or I was more motivated to read the new books like Women in Society, Juvenile Delinquency, Social Problems. They like really interest me. And so anyway, but before that, it was just so hard to finish a stinking book. And I know for sure I was saying this right here. I'm going to read all these books by the end of the year. I set this goal in December and January. And the kicker of that, or the words, and if you find yourself saying this, you ready? It's I'm going to read. It's all in the future. It's one day when I'm less stressed, have more time, and you fill in the blank, like I'm going, like it's what I'm going to do. And you say that at the beginning of the year, and then the end of the year, you started about 6 books and didn't finish them. I can certainly relate to that. And so Jimmy, my friend Shauna, I will say those two are like, they just, I was like, man, and I remember 2000, fast forward, graduate college, move to Staten Island. And that's when all the Harry Potter, or the last Harry Potter books, were coming out. And I remember Shauna just like, the book is like this thick, right? And when I would go hang out, after having lunch or whatever, I'll be like, hey, I'm gonna journal. So I of course I journal. That is my jam, right? So I'm like, take out my journal, and then she will take out her book. And she will stay there, like, like, hey, thanks for lunch or thanks for breakfast. Okay, see you later. And I will go out. I can still see in the window. She's still reading. And then like maybe I will say the next day or in 2 days, I will go down again, I will hang out again, and she's done with the book. And I'm like, what? How on earth? Like the whole book? You just started like 2 days ago, whatever the day was. It really could have been the same day, guys. I gotta go ask her. And and then when Jimmy comes in my life later on, he's also swallowing huge books. And I'm like, how do they do it? and I'm going to share the next picture or the next slide here. Boom. Okay. I'm like, how do these people, and this is, beyond Shauna and Jimmy, like, how do people have all these like libraries? I mean, look how beautiful this dark academia right here. Like, these are such beautiful libraries and bookshelves. And what Jimmy just recently said this to me, and this is why I want to bring it to you, is that he's like, those are reference books. and I know we could get into like, so people have like lots of books, like it's cool to have you see all the gurus that have all the books in the back, when they do their videos. You're like, wow, they're so smart, they read all these books. And it's why I made that decision to keep like my real reference books when it comes to like my business or self-improvement. And so anyway, so when he said that, I was like, well, that makes sense, having that as a reference. But I want to go back. Sorry, let's go back to Pitfalls. Before, I'm always like getting right into getting into the light. But let's dive in a little bit more, right? I said that story of like, well, but how? So, but what happens when I stay stuck and I'm going to read is that I feel stuck, right? So, and then when I feel stuck, right, then I'm not doing the thing. So therefore I'm unproductive. Yeah, unproductive. That's the word. And because I haven't been productive, or I haven't, let's say, for example, for this story, the book, read the book, then I feel pressure, right? Then it's, let's say it's December of that year, the goal I set in January, and it's like November, or actually, I don't think it will be that long. Let's say October. You're like, oh my gosh, I started like 2 books. I'm gonna finish at least one book, and it's October. I don't know. You may be watching this video in October. Who knows? Somewhere in the future. And you're like, and now you feel pressure and press on time, right? And this is pitiful. And maybe for you it's not a book, maybe it's something else. Okay, but you feel stuck. You're not, and therefore you're not being productive on whatever it is that you set out to do. And then because of that, when it comes to the deadline, you're just like feeling pressure to do it, press on time against the wall. And what does that even do? Like, you feel the anxiety. This is where burnout, because then you're pulling out all-nighters. Come on. We all have suffered from this, or do it in one. Maybe it's not a book for you. Maybe like Jimmy, right? Like books, no, not at all. Other things, absolutely, right? Like for me, journaling, not at all, right? But so if we all can relate. And again, if a stupid guru is telling you he or she is perfect, please stop. Okay. Anyway, so these are all the pitfalls in my opinion, and I'm sharing because I've gone through them. And so it starts with the feeling stuck, to the being unproductive, and because of that, then you feeling pressure on time. And that brings anxiety and burnout. And then the last one for me is just when you're feeling stuck, we'll go back there, you're like confused, and you're double guessing yourself. Well, which one should I start today? Like, I think this one. And when I hear people in present time go through that, like, I will want to give advice. And the thing is, like, it just goes beyond that. But it's and there are ways. And so, oops, which I like to share with you guys. But those are, in my opinion, are the pitfalls of perfectionism. And let's go to the next slide over here. So we said that these are references. How about we change it to I'm reading? And then, like, for example, I'm reading this book, The Richest Man in Babylon. When, and how about we stay away from I'm going to, and say, hey, I'm reading such and such book. Yeah, I'm reading this book. I know for me, social media, I know obviously I'm in social media, but I actually do see it as a good thing. I feel accountable if I say I'm reading something and I'm coming to a show, or I hashtag it somewhere. I feel compelled to complete that, and it helps, right? Oh, okay, but it's because I'm reading every day, and it's 10 pages, right? I'm reading The Richest Man in Babylon 10 pages a day. Well, I haven't done 10 pages, but I'm reading it. That's what I'm doing right now. So, going back to the example of Jimmy and Shauna, that's how it started for them, right? Because I was so comparing myself to how fast Shauna was reading, or the amount of books Jimmy had, and it's that's a pitfall in myself, of just comparing yourself. It's like, no, what are you reading? Right? What are you reading? I'm reading X book. And I want to say, to bring you back to the story. So after college, right? After Springfield College, after being interested in these subjects, and after knowing what I really wanted to do, my bachelor's is in youth development. And when you're clear, that's the word here. When you're clear about your direction. And so when I gave birth to YSuperstars. When I started YSuperstars, it was different because this was my baby, right? Like it was a creation, my project. And so reading books to help me develop me and hence then the business was something that was encouraging, right? And then I'm also paying people to help me in this field. And when you pay, you also, that's another motivation, in my opinion, which is to finish where you get started. So I want to say that honestly, I started reading a lot more. And obviously, Jimmy comes along this journey. We got married in 2011. And because also I'm surrounded by books, I'm surrounded by someone who's a reader, um, it encouraged me to do the same, to finish that. And also, side note, in Springfield College, I remember my dad right before it telling me, you never finish where you get started. And that hit a nerve somewhere. And that was the year that I did go back to Springfield College. I have a marathon. It just like, it was a motivation. So, anyway, that's what I got for us today. And the next thing is that keep tracking your progress, right? Like, this why when it comes to habits, I put 25% as big because the world, or not the world, in a world that glorifies perfectionism, right? You, and I hope you get to see it, right? The setup of this society is so unhealthy. I'm not even going to get into all of that. And we could just flip that and be excited about starting your new book, right? Like start like going through that journey. And if you're closing books, throwing them away, not finishing, that could be a sign. Maybe perhaps you're in the wrong field. Maybe you are reading something that's not making any sense and you want more clarity. So continue to track as you go, like timing your progress, just checking it in. This is what you're doing, and stay in the present. I'm reading, I'm walking, I'm exercising instead of like, I want to be a reader, or I want to read all these books. It's like, I'm a reader. Yeah, I'm currently reading The Richest Man in Babylon, right? I want to be healthy, it's I'm being healthy by walking 45 minutes a day. Do we see that difference? Like, instead of being in the future, it's what you're currently doing right now, and you get something like that. Or I believe the day before yesterday I shared from Archer and Olive, you can make it pretty, right, in your bullet journal. So guys, if whether you're a perfectionist struggling to let go of unrealistic standards, check the audio training so you can get clear. It's free audio training, how to get your time and energy back for what matters the most. So it's looking for this clarity of what matters the most. What is it that makes you tick for you? Guys, thanks for joining me. Went a little bit over time because it's a topic. Oh no, look at my messy hair. It's time for us to get out of here. My husband's over there. We're probably waiting. And I'm out of here. Enjoy your weekend. And I shall see you on Monday. Hey.